NYPD News, NYC-TV, Fox 5, WNBC.
Thank you. I am Mayor Adams, and I'm joined with the senior leadership of the New York City Police Department, the Commissioner, the First Deputy Commissioner, Chief of Patrol, Chief of Department, and Deputy Mayor Banks. In 2022, January 20th, we stood in Harlem Hospital where we lost two officers, Officer Mora and Officer Rivera. And today, we could have had a similar tragedy because of the swift actions of the two police officers who are involved and the responding officers. Those officers will be going home. We had a very violent and dangerous person that has a long record of violence, attempted to harm our police officers, but they responded accordingly. And I want to thank the men and women of the New York City Police Department for their continuously displaying why we are considered to be New York City finest. This was a horrific incident that, because of their actions, a dangerous person is apprehended, and we have two officers that will be going home to their families. I want to turn it over to the Police Commissioner to give an overview of the case, and Chief of Detectives will give the details of what took place here. Commissioner?
Okay, good evening, everyone. We're here because two officers from the 73rd Precinct were shot today while doing the job New Yorkers asked them to do. Both of our officers are here at New York City Health and Hospital, Kings County, where they're being treated for their wounds and are expected to make full recoveries. One of our officers have 9.5 years with the NYPD. The other has 16 years on. I want to thank the doctors, the nurses, the staff here for the excellent care they always provide us. And I want to remind everyone that this was one of those so-called routine jobs for patrol officers, which is to say there are never routine patrol jobs for our NYPD officers. Our officers are lucky to be alive at this hour, and they deserve all New Yorkers' thanks and gratitude for their courageous work. And all this on the same day that we buried the longest-serving NYPD Chief of Department, the legendary Joseph Esposito. So please keep the family of Joseph Esposito and all of our men and women in uniform in your prayers tonight and every day. Thank you. I will now turn it over to our Chief of Detectives, Joe Kenny.
Thank you, Commissioner. Today at 3:01 p.m., 73 Precinct Patrol officers in uniform responded to a 911 call at 1969 Bergen Street, Apartment 2B. This call for assistance was in regards to an assault in progress. This call for help was made by the female occupant of that apartment. This victim informed 911 that she was being physically assaulted by her son. She complained of a head injury. One sergeant and 3 police officers from the 73 Precinct responded to the scene and immediately identified the perpetrator. He was Melvin Butler, male, 39 years old, date of birth 11/16/84. He has 6 prior arrests in New York City and 1 prior arrest in North Carolina. He has a history of resisting arrest and of domestic violence. Officers informed Mr. Butler that he was under arrest and asked him to place his hands behind his back. At this time, Butler resists and a violent struggle ensues. At some point, Butler grabs hold of an officer's service weapon and shots are fired. One officer is shot in the left hand, another officer is shot in the left thigh. Both officers are being treated here at KCH and are recovering from their wounds. Butler himself is shot multiple times, and he is listed in critical but stable condition. This investigation will continue by the NYPD Force Investigation Division while working with the Kings County District Attorney's Office. Thank you.
Thank God our police officers are going to be okay. But New Yorkers need to ask the question, why is this continuing to happen? Why are these vicious assaults on police officers happening day after day? The assaults keep on going up. Why is that happening? Why does an individual, a repeat offender who's been arrested time and time again, feel like he can resist arrest? He can attack New York City police officers. He can shoot 2 New York City police officers. All police officers know the answer to that question, because he thought nothing would happen to him, because he was emboldened. He thought nothing would happen to him. Our system is broken at every step of the way. Our criminal justice system is broken, and it needs to change. We need all New Yorkers to stand with us. We're going to follow this case and make sure that this individual who shot 2 New York City police officers stays behind bars, because we know cases like this before, the individual gets back out on the streets. So New Yorkers, it's not just about our police officers, it's about the safety of all New Yorkers, and we need your help. We need you to stand with our police officers. We need you more than ever.
I will take a couple of questions for the Chief of Detectives. Thank you.
NBC. Chief, can you give a little more detail about the struggle? Was Butler able to fully take the gun away from the officer and then fire it? Or did he kind of go off while 2 people are struggling for the weapon?
We're still, with the Force Investigation Division is still monitoring the body-worn camera. They're looking at every angle. They're going through that. From what I viewed, it's immediately as they're struggling, they're going to the ground, and then you hear an officer state, "He has my gun," and then shots are fired.
Dean Moses, New York. Could you talk a little bit more about the history of violence there, the domestic situation?
His last 2 arrests back in February of 23 were domestic violence, where he violated an order of protection, and he had another incident in January, an assault 3, also domestic violence related. The most serious crime back in 04, attempted murder, where he did 15 years in state custody.
Any other questions?
Were they all against his mother, all of the domestic violence assaults?
We're looking through that as we speak.
I'm just curious if there's a mental health issue.
He has no history with the New York City Police Department of having any emotional problems.
Matt, 10.
Yeah, Kyle Mason, Daily News. Were both officers, were all parties shot by the same firearm?
We're working through that. Crime scene is there right now. They're processing, and like I said, Force Investigation will do their investigation to come up with the results of the ballistics.
And is there any indication at this point of friendly fire, or?
Obviously, that's something that we're going to be looking at, but as of right now, it's too early in the investigation to determine that.
All right. Any other questions?
Charges yet?
No charges as of yet.
Last one.
Were anybody else hurt? The mother, anybody else hurt? The FDNY had been telling us there were like 2 other people injured.
The original 911 call was complaining of a head injury.
All right.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Sorry.